Well, speaking of Minnesota, let's talk about them. 9-4 a year ago under PJ Fleck. He was sneakily been there for quite a while now
Right.
and has done good things in Minnesota. Like they always have a good defense. I'm still waiting on somebody to poach their defensive coordinator who's done very good work there. They have like a legit top 20 defense in the country pretty much every year now. Their over under this year is set at 7 or 7.5. Kind of the story on Minnesota is that they finally have a lot of change. Tanner Morgan was there for a long time, quarterback. He's out. He's done. His backup last year now appears to like he will be the starter. Ethan, I apologize for, I'm sure I'm butchering this. Ethan Kaliakmanis did not play very well last year, had 111 attempts, so he played a good chunk of the season and was not very productive. Mo Ibrahim, maybe the bigger loss at running back, who was, in a lot of ways, was their offense. Right. 20 rushing touchdowns last year. He's gone. Those are kind of the main names that have sort of made their offense home. I know Ibrahim missed the 1 year because of injury, but for the last several years, those are kind of the guys that have been there. Somehow they still return Chris Altman-Bell for I think it's his 6th or 7th season in college.
Wow.
It's at least the 6th year. Yeah, so I guess they have, depending on your point of view, they have a proven receiver option there. I think their offensive line is going to be pretty good. They develop offensive line very well. Minnesota might kind of fill the old Wisconsin role now that Wisconsin has changed. Like Minnesota might become that program who's good on defense, good at the offensive line. I'm just not sure I trust like anything else about their offense this year other than their offensive line. It scares me. I do trust their defense. Like they have earned that level of trust just to think that they will be solid, almost regardless of who returns and who doesn't. That's probably an oversimplification. That said, like they have earned the benefit of the doubt on the defensive side of the ball. Do you view this differently than me? Like, because, to me, it feels very much like we might be looking at like last year's Iowa.
Fair. Okay. They're not going to have that bad of an offense.
Sure,
you're underselling. Yeah, you're underselling their offense there for sure. And yeah, I mean, because you watched Iowa last year, that like this Minnesota's offense and Iowa's offense will not have just a ton in common. The schedule, like we do have to kind of get down to the schedule here. In their crossover, from the East, they play Michigan and Ohio State. You catch them both. That sucks. Yes. Like that's not fun. In the non-con, you also get Louisiana, which can be kind of dicey. Louisiana can be good at times. And you go to North Carolina, which is tough as well. So the schedule is difficult. I'm still going over. Yes, wow. I'm going over. I think all of that, you can take on all of that. That's fine. I like what PJ Fleck is doing. You mentioned the offensive line play. I like that. I think like that's a decent point. Finding a new running back is going to be key to run behind. So like kind of a large hole left there. But yeah, the schedule is tough. I think that is maybe a little bit unfortunate for Minnesota in a different year. They could like say you don't catch all of those the difficult teams from the East or the top two at least. I think that they can get to 8 wins. Can I get that 7 number though? Can I go 7 and go over that way? I'm showing 7. Do you not have 7?
Hold on, let me look them up.
My thought is that like we can at least push with a 7-5 year.
I do have a 7. Yes, that has changed since the last time I looked at the numbers. So yeah.
Okay. Let me take that 7 number and I'll go over. I think 7-5 is a possibility, but I think 8-4 is more probable than 6-6. So yeah, let's go with the over for the Golden Gophers.
I'm actually wrong. That 7 was there before. I just was looking at my notes wrong. I'm taking the under. I'll take the 7.5. Obviously, the schedule is just scary. They don't have a ton of road games, but the ones they do have, Northwestern's the only one you feel good about. They have to go to North Carolina, to Iowa, to Purdue and to Ohio State. Now they can beat Purdue, but I don't know. Like I do think like there's a lot of teams that I just feel slightly better about. Okay, well let me rephrase that. There's a number of teams that I feel are clearly going to be favored against Minnesota this year. You talked about it. They could play Michigan and Ohio State. They play Wisconsin. They play at Iowa. They play at North Carolina. I think that's probably 5 losses right there.
Yeah.
Which to me says 7-5. So that would be a push for you and a win for me. I'm taking the under. I wouldn't be shocked if they go over, just because I do have a lot of faith in their defense, the offensive line, and like they're kind of that prototypical Big Ten West team.
Right.
They've come so close to winning their division like numerous times over the last, well, really in PJ Fleck's tenure there.
Sure.
This is their last chance probably to actually make the Big Ten title game, because after this, it's done with divisions. Not that they can never do it. Like I'm not saying they can never do it. I'm just saying as their team is currently constructed, like this is their last chance.
That's a great point. That's a really good point, that it's going to be, the top 2 teams are probably going to play. Like it's probably going to be in every conference now. I think the SEC will be the same way. And that's going to eliminate like those surprise Cinderella teams. Remember Northwestern from 2 years ago that was there? Was
Purdue last year?
Purdue last year was in it. A great point. Minnesota's they've been on the outside looking in. So, I mean, they've been so close to winning the West. Not a number of times. So let's hope they get it done this year.